We are bringing more and more incredible guests to you that I just honestly can't wait for you to hear the stories that these people tell, and today is no different. Today I have with me the managing broker of a rising star, and his numbers just blow me away because wait till you hear this, right? Today I have with me the managing broker of Kawash Group, Nedal Kawash. Thanks for joining us, brother.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, Tim.
Of course. So I know you. And I see what you're building, and I see, your drive and all the incredible things you have going on in such a short period of time. But for those who don't know who you are, please introduce yourself.
Again, my name is Nedal Kawash. I'm the managing broker of the Kawash Group and the owner as well. I do have, as of right now, we do have 12 brokers.
Wow.
That are active brokers.
When did you start as a managing broker? When was that?
I believe January of 2024.
Wow, so you've been open about a year and a half and you're already at 12 agents.
Correct.
What was volume like in 2024? I know brand new, brokerage. What'd you guys do?
We did about 20 million.
That's impressive.
I would say between sales and the commercial leases.
Wow. So in 2025, what's that look like right now?
As of right now, we have about 5 million, and we're projecting by the end of the year to double our numbers from last year.
Yeah, because I know you've got about 10 listed, right?
Correct.
Currently right now, pending.
Correct.
I mean, constant growth, doubling first year. That's impressive. Seriously.
I would honestly say that goes a lot. I'll give a lot of credit to my team. A lot of the new agents that coming in with a lot of the new ideas and fresh ideas that we're all learning from each other. I think it's amazing. That's
what I love about this industry, right? Is that you hear these legends, right, who have been doing things a certain way for a certain period of time, but eventually you got this fresh blood that gets injected in the industry. You got these new people coming in with new ideas, new energy. I've met your team. They're all excited. They're all ready to do whatever hard work needs to happen, and they're grinding every single day.
Absolutely.
It's a great testament to your leadership, man.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you for your kind words. What I would honestly say, it's, again, as you said, a lot of fresh blood and a lot of new ideas and like a newer generation. So with utilizing and everything that we have in the industry, whether from technology, whether from even AI and everything, and incorporating it into your business, it's amazing. It's mind-blowing.
Industry's changing. We got to change with it, right? Us old guys, I mean, I feel old now because new guys come in and I'm like, what? How do you do that? I thought I was a tech guy. I got to learn it all over again.
It's right passing me.
So let's back up. What's your story? Tell me about you and how did you get in the industry, and would love to know a little bit more about you.
Absolutely. So I moved into the U.S. around 2008 from Jordan. I was born and raised in there.
Oh, wow.
And I moved here 2008. 2008.
Do you remember being in Jordan? Is that like...
Absolutely. I was about 15 at the time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I went through high school and always in middle of my high school years. So that's when I moved. I moved here when I was a sophomore. Then I finished high school here. Then I went to College DuPage.
What was it like living in Jordan?
Yeah, I mean, Jordan, I would say it's a good country to live in. The economy is decent. I wouldn't say anything like here, but overall it's safe. It's a good country overall.
That's awesome. Do you ever go back?
The last time I was there was 2023.
Okay, all right. That's awesome, man. So you came to America. You were 15. Tell me about that.
So my high school years were a little struggle, as you know. I barely spoke any English. Literally, I would say zero English.
Oh, so you barely spoke English when you got here?
None. I was yes and no.
Wow. Okay. Yes and no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Literally. I went to Lombard North High School. So there they had ESL classes, so I learned a lot through it. By my senior year, I was doing pretty decent. I was communicating pretty well. And that's when I graduated, went to College DuPage.
I can't even imagine going through high school not even speaking the language. That's an extra layer of. It's hard enough to go through high school alone, let alone honestly, not speaking the language. That's nuts.
That was honestly my motivation, to learn the language.
Okay.
I was getting bullied a lot, and just because I didn't speak English.
Wow.
I would laugh about it for a while, but obviously you need to learn it.
Yeah.
So I had to learn it as quick as possible. So honestly, within, I would say, the first year, I was communicating through classes, through even watching TV in only English.
Wow.
So that all kind of helped out.
Learning English through TV. That's amazing. I'm hearing like the Eminem song playing in the back of my mind. That's crazy, man. Good for you. Good for you. So, all right. So get through college or get through high school, then went to college.
So college years, I started doing business management. I was taking a few classes each semester. I was working at the same time at a restaurant, so I was doing a lot of hospitality. So after that, after I was doing business management for a little while. Then during that time, I got into a motorcycle accident.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So that kind of put me back, I would say, over a year that I was completely disabled.
So you got in like an accident?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Broke my tibia, fibula.
Oh, you were out of commission for a year?
Yeah. Completely out of wheelchair.
In a wheelchair?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. What was that like? I mean, that's got to be hard mentally, emotionally. I mean, that's crazy.
Honestly, it took a little while to recover from it. Mentally, physically, financially, everything. It was really hard. From the point that you're able to take care of yourself and do everything yourself to the point that you can't even go to the bathroom yourself.
Ugh, that sounds frustrating.
So you can imagine.
What was going through your mind during those times? I mean, I can only imagine sitting there. I know you're type A, so it's got to be frustrating sitting there, not able to help yourself.
I honestly couldn't. Like, at point, I would literally take the crutches, walk up and down the stairs, do anything I can. But obviously, you had those moments, even to the point that you're feeling suicidal in a way. You're like,
really?
Because of all the pain meds and everything else.
Yeah, you got all the junk running through you.
Yeah.
You're having to rely on other people. Oh.
That itself, it just puts you through a lot of emotions.
What got you through it?
I would say family and friends around me.
That's awesome.
And just being more motivated to get back to your normal life and just pushing through it.
So what happened after, you have a healing process, it sounds like, and so what happened then?
It took me a while. I kind of got back in. During that time that I was healing, I was going through school again. I was going through business management. And during that time, after I started walking, I got back to work. I was back into hospitality. And it got to the point that it was getting kind of hard because my leg wasn't fully healed. Mm. And I had an opportunity to work in insurance. So we're doing some accidental, some life insurance as well.
Okay.
I did that for about 2 years during that time. And during that time, I just completely left school.
I mean, that's a hard industry. I know that insurance it's a grind.
It was definitely not easy. I mean, the beginning to just learn it, and it's a whole different language. Just how it is with our industry now. I would say even insurance had a lot more, especially with even words. Couldn't even understand it. And especially that English was my second language, so some things were like, huh?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So you had to learn a language within a language, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
I've talked to insurance guys. Some of them, and it's not like a State Farm insurance. It's a very different model, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. There's another side to it where it's more of a grind.
It's definitely aggressive.
Phone calls and yeah.
We would honestly make 50 plus phone calls a day.
Wow.
So I would honestly say just doing that, it got me so much better on the phone. Mm-hmm. Even with how I talk on the phone, it's much more easier. And even with my communication skills, as I mentioned again, English being a second language, just doing that constantly on daily basis got to a point that I needed to get better.
Let me explain to you what he's saying, right? In these models, it was really interesting. I know these models where you got a boss that's jumping on you. They're counting your phone calls. They're making sure that you're watching, your metrics, right? That's a number that gets thrown around a lot. 50 to 60 phone calls a day. Look, if you're honest with yourself and you count your phone calls, I wonder how many people watching this don't make 10 a day, right?
Absolutely.
Consistency is key here. We in my group and in yours, that college of learning how to make phone calls, that schooling, it's invaluable. That grind, because if you just stay consistent, it always it's math. It leads to results, right?
Absolutely. Honestly, phone calls is everything. You hear a lot of people, you shouldn't cold call or you shouldn't do this. I disagree. I strongly disagree. Even just the fact that you're getting over that hump of you making a call takes a lot. So once you start constantly learning and pushing yourself to learn a new language or a new skill, it takes a lot. But getting over it, it's much easier.
The crazy thing about our business is that we actually get paid to communicate, right? That's all it is.
100%.
We don't pick up hammers unless we're in the reno space or something, but we get paid to make phone calls and talk to people. It's a touch sport, right? And the more people you touch, surprise, surprise, the more income that shows up, the more commission. You reminded me of a story with Jeff Gilliana, right? And when Jeff joined me in the beginnings of his career, he had a loan that he was working on, and he's looking at the paperwork, and he's just looking at it, and he's looking at it, and I'm watching him, and I can see him kind of like shuffling papers, but he's not doing anything. And I could tell something's up, so I walk over to him and I go, "What's going on?" He's like, "Oh, nothing." I go, "No, what's up?" And he goes, "Tim, I just don't know what to say to this client. Like it's different than what we talked about just because of the facts that now that we have. I don't know what to say. I just don't want to let this client down, and I'm worried about it." And I said, "Jeff, what do you have right now?" And he goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "What do you have right now? Like do you have anything? Do you have a mortgage rate for this? Do you have anything going on in your pipeline because of this deal?" He goes, "Well, no." I said, "So what's the difference between you making this phone call and not?" Here's the deal. Make the phone call. What's the worst thing that could possibly happen? Client says yes, right? Or
No.
no, right? And so either you now have a mortgage or you're exactly where you are today with nothing. And he goes, "Yeah. So why don't you just make the phone call and see what happens? If it doesn't work, you're exactly where you are when you started. You got nothing."
Absolutely.
Make the call.
That's exactly what I tell my team every single day. We have a listing right now. It's a mechanic shop. That's completely confidential. We're not allowed to even disclose or even list it on the market. The only thing that we're able to do, obviously, when we have an NDA. But it came down to a point that I'm like, okay, why don't we do this? I had one of the brokers who was with me at the office. We had a little bit of training day, and then I'm like, here's the area that you need to call in, but call every single mechanic shop in the whole neighborhood or everywhere, actually within, let's say, 10, 15-mile radius. Call each one of them and let's see who's looking to buy. We need to reach someone.
Yeah.
If you're limited on your resources of listing it or whatever, the next thing, let's reach out to some of these people.
You have a reason to call. That's what we're all looking for. You don't want to call with fluff. You have a reason to call and at least make a friend.
Absolutely.
At least provide value. So what happened? What'd you do with it?
I had Marco. He's one of my new brokers. Been with me at say for 7-8 months, and called for the next 2 hours. Honestly, within the first hour, already we started getting results. We had set up 2 listing appointments. The guy that he called ended up saying, "Yeah, I'm actually looking to sell mine, mine as well." I'm like, "All right."
Oh wow.
We set up a meeting with them a couple days later, and when we went and saw him, the guy was like showing me what he has, but then he goes like, "But actually, this one is not as important to sell. Still making money on it. I'd like to retire, but I have this 2 acres that I would like to either sell or do something with." I'm like, "Wait, what?"
Started with a mechanic shop.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden now it turns into another listing. I mean, just make the damn phone call.
Yeah.
Drives me nuts.
And
that's crazy.
And that's the power of just grab the phone. The worst thing they're going to say is no.
And, if you have a little bit of a script, a little bit of, something to say of value,
Absolutely.
right? Worst thing that happens, you make a friend. Now they have your contact info. You have somebody to follow up with. You don't call us a used car salesman.
Absolutely.
No
We're
pun
providing
intended.
value. You
Right.
shouldn't be as scared to call. People need a place to either live, to use as a business, or do whatever. Just call them.
Yeah.
As long as you're confident about your knowledge, and that's what I think where the disconnect happens, where people are not confident about who they are or about their own knowledge in the industry that they're in. And the biggest thing I tell my team, and we have literally 2 days a week that we do training on, Mondays and Thursdays. We try to change it up where we're teaching them not only about the industry, but about even as simple as life.
Mm-hmm.
And that, again, with the phone calls, that's very important. I try to get them to be confident about who they are. So we're not only focused on the business and on the production, we're focused on building you as a person.
Yeah, this business will change you. That's for sure. It's definitely changed me.
Absolutely.
The amount of exposure you have to other people's lives, right? You hear things that you wouldn't hear in any other, like profession, I guess.
Absolutely.
And you're involved in some of the most important things these people go through. I hate when people call things deals, right? It's like, it's not a deal. It's somebody's life,
Absolutely.
right? This is, even this mechanic shop, it's somebody's dream, right?
Absolutely.
They're trusting you to take this to the finish line because they've been working on this thing their whole lives, or their parents, or whatever. Legacy.
Absolutely.
We have to treat it with that level of respect. It sounds like you have that. It's amazing.
Honestly, over time and just being, I would say, what brought me to this point is being surrounded with a lot of great people and just being able to get that from them and seeing how important those things to them. And eventually you'll build it and make it into your own, to treat everyone with respect and treating everything and seeing how important those things to them, where it builds, again, that character out of it for you.
Yeah. I laugh because some of these, as the market adjusts, some of these agents are getting a wake-up call right now. What do you see in the industry? People are, you're year over year doubling your production. Where do you see mistakes happening? What bothers you about the industry being new-ish to the industry?
Again, I would honestly say the knowledge for a lot of the brokers.
Really?
A lot of brokers don't understand on how to deliver the message. You talked about it, I forgot which video it was, but even as simple as explaining to people, like, okay, the interest rates are higher than usual, but that means that we have less competition on a deal. We might have a little slight inventory, a little less, but again, it's your knowledge of delivering that message to them. And
it's analyzing the data for what it is. People, there's quite a few in there. I love listening to, Corey Tanzer. I love listening to Matt Laracy. I love listening to Holly Connors. These people are excellent at delivering the honesty
Absolutely.
behind the messaging of that. Look, yes, your example, interest rates are higher. They're higher than they were before. Historically, they're actually pretty low. Mm-hmm. But I understand there's this apprehension of what's going on in the market. But your client is coming to you with a need. And if you don't have enough information, if you don't educate yourself on what's really going on, you don't have the right to answer the questions that they're asking. So if this is what you do for a profession, right, you got to learn. Rates they ticked up, but inventory is way down. So what do you think happens when rates go down? Absolutely. Right? It gets worse because we're not going to get a bunch of inventory. We might get some, but it's going to turn into what inventory is there. We now have a bunch of buyers. I remember seeing posts of people going, I don't need any more buyers. I need inventory. I don't need any more buyers. I got plenty of buyers, right? Because there's record demand still. It's just the what's available. Unfortunately, it's not readily, it's not there, right?
Absolutely. And for me, honestly, what I would say in terms of the inventory, there are kind of other ways to go about it. You have a buyer that's looking for 3-bed, 2-bed, Elmhurst, call it. Mm-hmm. You can definitely grab the phone and call the entire neighborhood and see who is even willing to sell. Even if your client is worried about the interest rate, okay, let's check if we can find an assumable loan. Maybe assume the loan. Sometimes it's not. It depends on the situation, depends on the equity, depends on the down payment.
Education, being creative, thinking outside the box, right? I love hearing these types of stories. You had brought up something to me that I think would be valuable to the audience, right? You had talked about, you educated me a little bit. Something about a lease property. What was it that you were talking about?
That's the same property that we were talking about, the owner of the mechanic shop.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So he owns about 2 acres down south, which is a commercial lot.
Okay.
It's on a great intersection. When I went and saw it, I drove around the neighborhood multiple times. And I just noticed that there is literally no gas stations within over a mile, maybe 2 miles away.
Okay.
And based on my experience, again, I've sold gas stations in the past. And I've worked around gas stations, so I have a little bit of knowledge on them. And I'm like, I think we could definitely get a land lease here. So land lease is basically the owner will still own the property, the lot, but you'll find a company like Thornton or Gas and Wash or whatever companies are out there.
Will pay to develop and put their business on that land, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But the lease that they'll be taking is going to be over 20 or 30 to 100 years.
Wow.
That's what their leases are, especially if they're spending a couple $1 million to develop the property.
Yeah, they don't want to let it go, right?
And it came down to a point, I've worked around land leases, but not as much, honestly. It came down to a point that I didn't know how to find the exact value of it, of how much we could rent it out for. And I kid you not, I was calling. I called a couple of my commercial brokers that I typically talk to on very regularly, I would say. I called them. Nobody knew. I'm like, all right, well, let's check out ChatGPT. I'm like,
oh wow.
I put everything in ChatGPT. Obviously, with ChatGPT, it's very smart. Mm-hmm. Depending on the prompts you put, you're gonna get answers. And it came down to a point I put everything in. I spent over an hour just figuring out, putting different prompts. But what it did, almost like reverse prospecting, but not in a way. You'll see exactly who looked on the property, but this was a lot different. This was more of, it looks on what were the sales of the land lease that was developed.
Okay.
So let's say typically after you get a land lease, you develop on it, some landlord will just sell it. Sell it for a lot bigger.
Right.
So it pulled all the comps on the comps on the property of what it was listed of the lease. Because if you go on CoStar, you go on Craigslist, which are the 2 biggest platforms for commercial.
Okay.
And you're able to pull out a lot of, I would say, comps on it, just resources or information about the lot. But there was nothing, literally zero. With ChatGPT, it pulled what was actually sold as a gas station and as what those land were rented out for or leased out for.
Wow.
So it came down to, it's going to be $2 a square foot. Math was about $18,000 a month. The property itself was probably, give or take, maybe around $1 million.
Okay.
So within less than 10 years, or actually 5 years, the whole entire property would be paid off. So imagine getting a 30-year lease. I looked out after my client of just doing the resources.
So you're getting a 30-year income versus a single transaction.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Wow. And then you also have
His
something that
retirement.
could be sold if he decided once it was developed and whatnot.
Absolutely.
I mean, people hearing this, they're like, oh, okay, you use ChatGPT. It's so easy, right?
Well, it's a lot more than that way, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. And that's why you need a realtor, and you need somebody who actually knows how to take the right data and look at it through the right lens, because it's like when people call me with interest rates. They're like, oh, well, I saw it was this. And you're like, no, that's not how that works. That's lead gen, right? They're going to show you the best, so that way you can figure. But people come up with opinions almost like Zestimates and all that.
Yeah.
You need an agent to kind of sift through that, right?
Absolutely. It comes with experience. Again, depends if he went and listed it, probably would have listed it for sale and called it a day. Actually,
Yeah.
had it listed for sale, canceled it because he was not happy about what he was getting.
Yeah, I mean, that's so common in that space, right? Is that the client comes up with a number based off of the comps that they came up with. Agents so eager to get a listing, they just throw it up there. Kevin Rossio did a whole talk on this that I thought was brilliant, where he explained why listings don't sell, right? Is that it's your math isn't working out, and any person who knows commercial space, like yourself, takes one look at it and goes, "This is wrong."
Absolutely.
The math's not mathing, right?
Absolutely.
So that's brilliant. That's brilliant. You know, you've built an empire with a very short period of time. You got 12 agents underneath you. You guys are doubling your business. You know, I don't think a lot of people know, or actually a lot of people do know, but maybe general market isn't unaware of how successful you are in the networking space. You've thrown just a handful of events that I've been able to go to that were every single one, I was blown away. It was packed with people. Talk to me about that, man.
So the networking event, it's actually fun. It's a funny story how the whole thing started.
Okay.
Again, that goes back to what I've used to do back when I was younger. I used to always like to host events and work in the hospitality industry. So that's where everything came in from. So I'm like, instead of us, going out, eating with and meeting the same exact people, why don't we host something that everybody can come in and have fun? Honestly, the first event, I was expecting maybe 30 to 50 people. We did it at the Trump at Rebar. Even with at the meeting that I had with them, I'm like maybe 50 people. But again, it comes down.
Hold on, I was at that one.
Yeah, that was our first event.
That was your first. I didn't know that was your first one. I had no idea. You would never know that was your first event.
Yeah.
Huh. Let me tell you something. It was packed. I mean, it was. Most people try years before they finally get to that level of actually filling a room full of people that matter, right? I think it's easy to fill a room in Chicago with the same old, and some of those people maybe have deals or don't, or maybe they close things, maybe they don't. This was it wasn't just realtors; it was business owners. And they were so happy to see you. What's that?
We had even doctors.
Yeah,
doctor, dentist, everything.
I mean, it's real networking. You're meeting people from different industries, all just eager to talk to you.
And honestly, that was the biggest thing for me. I did not want it to be, again, something that an ordinary thing that you can go into. It's the same thing where there's a speech, there's this, and it's everyone is trying to be so professional, and they forget about the whole reason why they're even there.
I can't stand it. I honestly
can't.
I've been doing this for I think 23 years now, and I hate to say it, I'm so sick and tired of going to an event. It's the same people. Now, don't get me wrong, I love the people, but if I'm not going to go to 9 events with the same thing happening.
We already talked about the same thing.
Right. This is a waste of my time. I love you, but what are we doing here? It's, and I get it. Award ceremonies, all these things, they're awesome. And I think it's great. But if I'm going to go downtown and I'm going to go to an event, I would love to meet some new people and actually have an intimate conversation and talk about things of substance, not the same old run through of it's like tongue-in-cheek cliche. Mm-hmm. Yours wasn't. It was to the point. You were intentional about introducing people to people.
Absolutely.
If you're throwing events, you got to know this hack, right? He's got it down. If you're the host, sometimes people will just stand around and just wait for people to come to them. This man walked around and says, "Hey, you know what, Tim? You got to meet Steven. Steven's great. Let me introduce you," and would introduce people at his event. That's how you do it.
You got to know
brilliant.
You got to know why each person is there and what they do.
Right.
I didn't know everyone, obviously. Even with the second
expected.
event, some people even got upset that I couldn't even spend the time with them, but I had to run around. As I said, personally, it's something about I've always liked to jump around the whole entire room. I can't be in one place. But again, it came down to a point that I honestly, with me being genuine, I love connecting people.
Yeah,
I'm a connector.
You could tell.
Yeah.
You could tell. The second event that you did, I was blown away. I didn't know what I was going to. I mean, we walked in and I was like, it was wall to wall people, and this wasn't like we put 2 events together type of thing. This was your event with step and repeat.
I give the credit to all of you. each one of you invited. That's when I was even discussing it with Kevin right before I even started the first one.
We're smoking cigars. They had a cigar rolling guy. The next thing they had drinks. I mean, it was fun. It wasn't tongue in cheek, and it was like you actually were glad you came to it. Right? It was a very family type environment. It was really cool.
Absolutely, take very pride of that.
Well, my hat's off to you, man, and I think what you're doing is incredible. I want you to know I appreciate you and what you're about, because I wish we could replicate you in the industry, of that you're not afraid to admit you're new in the industry, newer,
Absolutely, have to.
Right? But you're killing it. You're standing in front of it. You're learning. You're adapting. You're growing hand over fist every single year, and I just think it's so impressive, what you're about and what you've done in such a short period of time. A lot of people can learn from you. Seriously.
Appreciate it.
And you care about your team, right? Your team is loyal, they're awesome, and they're just so appreciative of all that you do for them. So thank you so much for coming on the show today, man. I truly appreciate you, and thank you for what you're about.
Thank you for having
Great
me,
seeing you,
brother.
man.